Next to me here today, we have the Resurgence Ultimate Ultra Lite single layered riding jean, and it is finally here. This has been something of a wait, having been delayed several times, and a little bit frustrating because we really wanted to bring this to you far earlier in the season and release a top 5 single layered jeans video for you guys, because a lot of you have been asking for it, and there wasn't really much point in doing that until this had turned up, because on paper, this is such an appealing prospect. This is a single layered AA CE approved jean from Resurgence that comes in at the staggeringly competitive price of £199.99. So this puts it at a full £40 to £50 cheaper than the next cheapest AA CE approved single layered jean in our lineup, which is unsurprising. Being Resurgence, they do come out at such cracking price points. But the thing that they also do so well is the fit and the feel and the look of their jeans are absolutely spot on. So people can buy them with real confidence, knowing that the sizing is right and that they're going to like the end product. So naturally, pre-orders on this have been crazy, and in fact, from the first shipment, we are going to have a few patches in stock for a couple of weeks until the next load of the jeans arrive from Resurgence to us if you're watching this upon launch of the video. But because of all the winning formula that Resurgence jeans pack into everything and the price point, it's easy to see why it's going to be so appealing to so many people. So what you probably are all wondering is it really as good as all that suggests? Basically, yeah, it is. It's fantastic. So this is something that incorporates their PEKEV aramid fibre into a cotton and elastane blend outer. The elastane obviously giving an element of stretch to make it comfortable, wearable on the bike so it doesn't have pinch points, and it's just more ergonomic to wear in and off the bike. But it's the PEKEV really that is the winning formula for them. It's their own in-house equivalent to something like a Kevlar. It performs better than Kevlar in most metrics, and it's 15 times stronger than carbon steel. It has very, very good qualities when it comes to things like heat transfer. So it actually allows a far greater degree of breathability. It doesn't act like an insulator in the same way that something like Kevlar does. And compared to alternates like Dyneema, which is very popular in the single layer jeans, and in fact in the majority of the single layer jeans, that is what is used from other brands. But Dyneema has the tendency over time to react to UV light and also to break down from chemicals in things like conditioners and laundry detergents and stuff like that, whereas the PEKEV is far more resistant to it. It's got a very high abrasion resistance as well, so naturally blending it in the single layer, it achieves this AA rating quite easily. So it's a really good winning formula, and it is a genuine single layer jean. There is nothing backing it, so it feels and looks as much like your regular jeans as possible. And this is of course the holy grail when it comes to motorcycle jeans. You want something that is as much like your favoured pair of off the bike jeans, but detracts as little as possible in terms of that look and comfort in achieving this high level of protection that we all want from motorcycle trousers. So this is the indigo we have here, and we also have the black as well. So there's two colours, and that's not always the case. Black is actually a far rarer colour in this single layer jean because the Dyneema that's used predominantly, as I mentioned from other brands, it's very difficult for the black to absorb into the Dyneema to create the right colour. So most of them tend to be indigo. What we have here with the Resurgence ones in the blue looks just like a normal blue, but this PEKEV is actually a slight white fabric. And you can see it, but it's not noticeable that it's PEKEV. It just looks like a very, very slight stonewash effect. So you wouldn't know any different looking at the blue. But if you look at the black very closely, it does have little flecks of the white coming through, which maybe detract very slightly if that's what you're after. So if you want the black, I would say also look at the Panda Moto jeans, which we reviewed very recently, which are a little bit more expensive, but they are an absolute outright black, and there's no signs at all of that interwoven aramid fiber on the outside. So that's just one very, very minor weakness in, I'd say, the black jean. But really coming in as it does at £199 is a really minor point overall, but worth mentioning nonetheless. Now, fit and everything like that is absolutely spot on. So I'm a 32. I was in the 32 in the pictures, and it fit me absolutely perfectly. It was really nicely tailored throughout the leg, so it's somewhere between a slim and a straight fit. It's neither constrictive nor loose. It's just spot on, and I think it's going to appeal to everybody. You've got 3 different leg lengths, so you've got a 30, a 32, and a 34. And they again are measured correctly. So unlike say the cafe races within the Resurgence range that have a turn up by default, giving you an extra couple of inches over the listed leg length, these ones don't have the turn up, so they're just as they are, so you get the leg length that you want. So in my case, I'd probably go for the 34s, being 6'2" and having about 33 inside leg. So it just gives you a little bit extra for when you're on the bike, leg at a right angle, and obviously the hem rises up slightly. So that just gives a little bit more extra fabric. The look of the jeans is really understated. So these are not motorcycle-y. So these are designed just to look as much like your regular jeans as possible with this classic 5-pocket layout. contrast stitching, the Resurgence patch on this area of the belt, a slight raise to the rear of it as well, just to create a good junction point between your trouser and your jacket that you're wearing. There is Resurgence branding just on the metal hardware on these little rivets and also on the button at the top of the zipped fly, which is another great feature too. So it comes included at the price of $199.99 with level 1 C approved D3O Ghost armour, which is pretty much the most popular market leading armour out there at the moment. D3O having created quite a good brand name for themselves, and it performs very well. And the good thing about the Ghost armour, as you can see, is it's super slimline and very, very flexible and comfortable. So you could arguably just leave it in if you wanted to. It's not something that's so bulky that you'd have to take the jeans off to get the armour out when you get to where you're going, so that you don't feel weird walking around. It's very ergonomic indeed. It also has this kind of honeycomb triangulated structure to it, which allows a lot more breathability than you get with most other flat armours. So that's great. So the only thing about the way that the armour fits compared to a couple of the rivals is the fact that it is internally accessed in both the hips and in the knees as well. So you have to put the D3O armour I just showed you in this little pouch, which then has a Velcro front to it, which then goes in the pocket inside the jean. So there's a couple of, I guess, steps to getting the armour in. And what that really translates to as well, because there's this Velcro front to it, you have to stick it where you want it. So that just leaves a slight element of possibility that you might, put it too high or too low, and then have to take them off and adjust and do it again, which could be a bit of a faff. But realistically, I'm being very, very picky here. It's actually quite nice having the ability to adjust it exactly how you want. So maybe you just mark inside where you want the top of this little pouch to go in comparison to the pocket, and then you don't have to play any guessing games with it. But it fits really nicely, it's ergonomic, and it's very easy to just keep in all day, as I said. So that's included at the price. So really, all things considered, this is a very highly accomplished jean. It's got great spec, it's got great claims about the longevity of the PEKEV, as I say, over and against the longevity of products like Dyneema. We can't really verify these claims, they're just claims that the manufacturers make, but certainly achieving the same level of CE approval as those other fibres from the other brands and doing it for £50 less essentially than what the other cheapest brands have achieved is remarkable. So we do think these will be very popular. If you've got any thoughts, questions, comments, feedback, anything I may have missed whatsoever, then do leave that in the comments section below and we'll try and get back to you as quickly as possible. And stay tuned for more video reviews of the world's finest riding gear. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye.